And it's right next to the kitchen, so maybe not really a surprise. But actually, I wanted to see what they were building that night because I'd read ahead. And I knew what they were doing. They were trying to build a tower with toothpicks and mini marshmallows. You might have seen some of them in the video earlier. They were kind of way in the background. Here's the thing, though. They couldn't talk to each other to make it. So they had to pretend that they didn't speak the same language and had to resort to gestures to try to get the thing built, which was pretty comical to watch, actually. And honestly, it's probably the quietest that craft room has ever been in any VBS that I've ever been to. And some of the teams did a pretty good job. They displayed some pretty impressive building skills, even under challenging circumstances. But to continue on like that for years in order to build a tower that reaches to the sky, well, you can kind of see why the effort in Babel was abandoned. And the people scattered to seek out other people that they shared common language with. Before we move forward with the VBS curriculum, I want to take just a moment to kind of refocus on the title of the message. When you think of the jungle, what image springs into your mind? I was stationed in Panama. Statistically, the deadliest large land animal on the planet, hippos, can weigh up to 9,900 pounds, sprint at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour, and their teeth are over a foot long. And they kill more people on this planet than any other land animal. As long as they stay underwater and away from me. If you're stamping your way through the jungle, any number of illnesses await. Navigation under a canopy of trees and brush can be challenging. Entire convoys have been lost. But in a unique way, despite all the hazards, the jungle is a beautiful place, just like life. And that parallel is one I don't want us to miss today. Like Adam, we were brought into a place and a life that we may never fully understand. The only thing that can bring you peace and rest. And that brings us to day 4, Christ and the cross. The Apostle John writes in the opening of his gospel, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men." Skipping down to verse 10, "He was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him." And verse 12, Thursday's memory verse, "But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God." Continuing on in verse 14, "And the Word," that same word referred to in verse 1, "became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory. Glory is of the only Son from the Father, full of grace." And she said something that struck me. And it was so powerful, and she said it so casually that I just wanted her to stop and back up and run over it again. And here's what she said: "I want all of these cards turned into me so that I can follow up with the parents of any kiddo that receives Jesus, because the goal isn't to create converts, it's to make disciples." Mind blown. Wait, you mean we have people in this church and plan and do things that grow the kingdom of God every day? And my question to you is, if you are a follower of Christ, if you're a Christian, if you are a disciple of Christ, are you doing that? And if you aren't, you better get busy. And here's why. Because day 5 is coming. Consummation. The promised time when Jesus will return and bring an end to everything that we know now. And Pastor John led off day 5. The volunteers by this time of the week are smoked. They're tired. But encouragement is coming. John laid these words on them. You're probably not thinking about eternal stuff while you're doing whatever it is you're doing one more time tonight. But please understand, what you're doing here transcends the here and now. It connects the present to forever. That's pretty good stuff, yeah? I mean, he guy sounds like he's a pastor or something. He wasn't done. He read from Matthew 25, Jesus' words to his disciples about what his promised return is going to look like and how he's going to gather all the nations and separate the people that had accepted him and worked for his glory from those who hadn't. And he wrapped up with his own paraphrase of the words of Jesus recorded in verses 35 through 40. And this is a hard one for me to get to, so just excuse the snot right up front. For I was hungry, and you gave me a snack. I was thirsty, and you took me to the water fountain. I was a stranger, and you made me feel welcome and introduced me to other kids my age. I was hot, you sprayed me with a hose on water night. I didn't know the words to the song, and you taught them to me. I thought they were just marshmallows and toothpicks, and you used them to share the gospel with me. And then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we give you a snack, or take you to the water fountain, or spray you with the hose, or make you feel welcome, or teach you a song, or share the gospel with you? And the king will answer them, truly, I say to you, as you did it to one of these precious children at Baxter Road Bible Church's VBS, you did it to me. You think people were fired up for that night after that? And then, as happens in the jungle from time to time, it began to rain, and the power went out. And teachers and kids had to huddle in whatever places they could find that were relatively light and dry until the staff